situation in Githurai was that a criminal in Rongai, a criminal assaulted the police, took over the firearm of the police, and shot. And unfortunately, that bullet went and killed a young Kenyan. And unfortunately, again, and we have to be honest with one another, it was said that this young Kenyan was pumped with 8 bullets. That is also not true in Rongai, And so there is a lot of information out there in the social media propagated by people to try and create a situation that did not exist. In fact, I heard Kevin say, I was asking the one who, did he die? Because, the one that was being said of 8 bullets did not exist. In fact, we have now found out that the one of 8 bullets happened several years ago, somewhere in Buruburu, and it was in a completely different scenario.
Really?
But on Rongai, I was very clear. I had the benefit of information, and I spoke to that information. The same narrative I gave when I gave the interview on Sunday is the same narrative I have at the moment. I have also been, Kevin has also said that we need to hold the police accountable, and that is correct. And it has been said that I am the president. Yes, I am the president of Kenya, but the president doesn't hold absolute power. That is why we are a democracy. In a democracy, there is a system of checks and balances. The president is not a dictator. I cannot decide for the judiciary. I cannot decide for the legislature. They make their own independent decisions. I cannot decide for independent institutions. The police, and let me say this without fear of any contradiction. When I came into office, I said I will respect the independence of the police. In fact, the one act I did when I came into office, the first day when I sat on my table as president, I signed the instrument to remove the budget of the police from my office, because that budget was being used to manipulate the police. You all know that it is said, he who pays the piper calls the tune. So I did not want my office to be the one to decide for the police on who to arrest, who to charge, how to pursue corruption. I provide policy, the police run independently. In fact, if you read the Constitution of Kenya, the police is an independent institution. It doesn't take instructions from me. It doesn't take instructions from the Chief Justice. It doesn't take instructions from the Speaker or from the legislature. They act independently. I agree, good people, that innocent lives were lost. And one life lost is one too many. I have said in my statement that as government, we are going to support
What is happening?
Nikaa kunaishia connection. Hussein, unasikia?
Nasikia Otero. Just one moment, let the president use my handset in the meantime, yeah?
Osama Otero, I got a question in regards to what the president has said just now. First of all, I'm quite dismayed that he's still trying to clear his name. It is about accountability here. He's talking about the number of bullets that killed a citizen. Is it about one person dying or 100 people dying? We know very well that the number exceeds 25 people. And it is not about one person or 25 people or 1 million people. It is about people being killed recklessly. He is still not taking accountability for his actions. And yes, if he says it is a democracy, we agree that is what we expect of a president, of a Kenyan, because independence was fought for and earned 12 December 1963. Now, we're still fighting to free ourselves from the IMF and World Bank, respectively. He's talking about the number of bullets that killed a citizen. He's talking about a citizen in Githurai attacking the police at 3 a.m.? Really? Honestly, Mr. William Ruto, your accountability is zero. I'm quite dismayed, honestly, because you came here to answer to the citizens, but you're taking zero accountability for it. And if you say they're independent, why do you laud the police for the murder of civilians? Why do you hold a press conference and tell the police that, citizens, that they're going to be met with equal force if they go and protest? And what he meant, he did not use the word protest precisely, but he said anyone who tries to disrupt the peace of the country. Protesters, how do protesters disrupt the peace of a country? Why do you laud the police when people are killed? Why are police shooting at civilians on their balconies? Why are people fleeing Kenya so that they may have peace? Why are they being abducted? You might say that the police body is independent, but this is not a democracy. It is not functioning like a democracy, but a dictatorship, Mr. William Ruto. Because the way the police are handling the situation is not fit for a democracy. And you cannot deny that you're behind that. Because even though you say they're independent, you have the power to stop the killings. But instead you go, after all the killings, you go hold a press conference and laud them. Sincerely, we saw Mano Mano last year, how you dealt with the citizens. Same scenario this year. When is that going to stop? What kind of a democracy is this? Can you define what a democracy is, Mr. William Ruto? I think you grew up in a very authoritarian family that you expect people just to dance to your tune. In a democracy, the right to picket and to protest is guaranteed in the Constitution. The countries you travel to, Germany and, United States, first of all, why did you grant them visa-free entry to Kenya? Africans do not have the luxury, even diasporans don't have that luxury. The way diasporans are being treated at the airport, these bills. Now, what you did when you granted Europeans visa-free entry to the country is giving them the right to disrespect Kenyan citizens abroad. And the fee that was supposed to be incurred through the payment of visas is transferred to Kenyans. I mean, that is simple mathematics. You should know that.
Okay, Kenyan German lady, thank you so much.
Why don't you set the same expectations for European nations and the West in general as they set for Kenyans? Okay, why do you sit with them all the time and then the conditions worsen for Kenyans?
Okay, if you can hear me, Kenyan German lady, let's give it. We said we'll limit this to 2 minutes so that we give everybody a chance to. No worries. You're at liberty, of course, to ask your question, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Let me help. Let me say this to my sister. The right to picket, and I said it in my statement, is enshrined in the Constitution. But let me also make a distinction. I said the protesters, peaceful, within their democratic right, were hijacked. There are people who infiltrated. I am very sure that the people who banned the office of the Chief Justice, the people who banned Parliament, are not the peaceful protesters. These are criminals who I was speaking to, and I was saying the police must stop criminals who are banning institutions, who are banning people who have gone to destroy people's property. I don't think those were innocent demonstrators. I know for sure that innocent demonstrators came out to protest, to picket, because it is provided for by the Constitution. But honestly, do you want to tell me that the innocent protesters, the people who had come to picket, are the ones who broke up shops, stole people's property, burned down parliament? I don't think so. And we need to protect the protesters, but we need to keep the criminals who want to cause mayhem out. And I have the responsibility to do both by assisting, getting the police to do what they have to do. It is my responsibility to facilitate the police. The police will tell you, ever since I came into office, I have tried to assist them, to get them the right equipment, to get them the right capability to protect the country and to protect innocent protesters. Let me also tell you, many of the innocent protesters became victims of criminals who stole their phones. They were all over, who took away their money, who stole from them. This is the balance we need to get. But let me tell you, ultimately, after I have said everything I have said, I am ultimately responsible because I am president. And that is why I said it was regrettable. It was unfortunate that we lost lives in this engagement. And I have said government is going to assist all the families as to the extent that we can to make sure that we minimize the loss that they have gone through. Let me also say the following. On matters to do with passports, I think we have made a very big step in the right direction to make sure that we deal with the challenge of passports. And even now, we have even a green channel to Kenyans who are looking for jobs abroad. Today, there is a green channel at immigration to make sure that those Kenyans who have jobs abroad can be able to be processed much more easily. Let me also say, there is a reason why we have a visa-free regime in Kenya. And when I say a visa-free regime, it doesn't mean that people come to Kenya for free. That is not the same. It is that we have simplified the process. Today, you will come to Kenya. We have simplified the process because we want to escalate our numbers. And for your information, because of the visa-free regime, we now have a program called ETA. Our numbers for tourism have gone up by 500,000. More Kenyans today have jobs in our hotels. Our hotels in Kenya today are 80% full in many instances. If you speak to the tourism sector, they will tell you our numbers for tourism in 2022 was close to 1 million. Last year, it was 2 million. This year, we are heading to 2.7 million. It is part of the interventions that I have made. It is part of the changing of how do you come to Kenya. Make it easy. Today, you don't have to go to no office. Today, you can get your ETA, pay for it online, and be able to come to Kenya easily. And Kenya is not the only country in Africa that is doing that. We are all doing that. Look at what is happening in Europe. 27 countries in Europe, they don't have a visa between them. They have abolished visa between them. Why would we want to keep a visa regime that keeps business people, that keeps tourists out and makes it much more difficult for them to come and enjoy what we have? For your information, Kenya should not be having 2.7 million tourists. We should be having 10 million. In fact, London has nothing to show. London is blocks, old places. They have 20 million tourists. We should be having 10 million tourists. It is my focus that in the next 5 years, I want to double the number of tourists coming to Kenya by 2027, 2028, and progressively do that. Why do I need tourists in Kenya? I need to create jobs for millions of young people in our country. We need to create investment in Kenya. We need to make sure that our farmers have a place to sell their food. their produce. This is why I am doing the visa-free. It is not us versus them. We are looking after our own interest, and that's what I'm doing. Let me also say the following. Many people have asked me why I shouldn't dissolve cabinet. You see, when you sit in the place that I sit, there are many things that you have to think about. And I have given my undertaking this afternoon, that I am in the process of looking at how differently we can be able to reorganize government for it to deliver effectively, appropriately. And I have listed a number of interventions that I believe will take us to the next level, added on to what we were doing. I have also heard from my good sister who said that what happens to the finance bill? Is it going to become law in 21 days? Because that was the biggest beef. And why did I wait until it was too late? Let me answer it this way. First, let me say that the finance bill today was a victim of many falsehoods and propaganda. The finance bill today was meant to achieve very important things for the Republic of Kenya. Unfortunately, I gave in because the people of Kenya had decided they do not want it, which is okay. But was there a problem with the finance bill? I would want a honest interrogation of the finance bill. For example, it was said that the finance bill had matters to do with increasing money for land rates and land rent and changing the whole configuration. Let me tell you, there is no single sentence in the finance bill that speaks to land rents and land issues. It was not true. It also says that we had put in there taxes that would make it difficult for people suffering from cancer. Let me tell you that, in fact, in this finance bill, we had put there 2 billion shillings to pay for the people who have cancer, who have diabetes, who have hypertension, because under our universal housing program. In this same bill, we had put interventions that would create more jobs. We had said, for example, there is no need for us to import diapers, to import pampers, to import linker, to import furniture from all manner of places when there are enough factories in Kenya to manufacture these products. And these products manufactured by Kenyans, hiring Kenyan young people, building Kenyan wealth, we were protecting our own industries so that we can protect our own jobs and give opportunity to millions of young people, to be able to understand, to be able to get jobs. And also, let me just say this lastly, potatoes, good people. Is it right for us to import potatoes from Europe, or eggs, or onions? We had put duty on importation of potatoes so that farmers in Nyandarua, in Timau, in different parts of Kenya can sell their produce without competition from potatoes from elsewhere. These are some of the things that were in the finance bill. I admitted, which I do, that maybe we didn't do as much communication as we should have, and that is a regret that I have admitted. But I am willing, I am ready, I am here to listen. Let me not say more. Let me do more listening.
Well, Mr. President, sir, ni mzuri tuongee ukweli.
Yes.
There's one problem with you, Mr. President. Haunanga huruma. You are not empathetic. Nini kitu imekasisha watu wengi, Mr. President? Na hii shida yote ilianza ile time ya floods. Remember time ya floods? Wakati watu walikuwa wanateseka, you never even said a word. A week later on, we saw you on a private plane to the US, carrying all sorts of people, unnecessary people to the US. Hapo ndo shida ikaanza. You never said a word. Ukirudi bado nyumbani, tukaanza mambo ya reject the finance bill, kanyamaza tu, ukaona tunaenda maandamano. We never said a word until watu wakaanza kuuliwa. That's when you decided to reject the finance bill. Mr. President, surely mbona huo unanyamaza alafu unapenda uongo sana? Unaona tu vitu vinafanyika when it gets out of hand, alafu unaanza kuongea. Saizi kuna watu wanazika watoto wao saizi vile tunaongea. Saizi hata kuna rafiki yangu saizi anazikwa saizi. Ni matanga, hii wiki imekuwa ni matanga sababu ya maandamano. But you're here thinking about the economy. You're not even sympathetic to the families. Uja mention hata jina mtu mmoja. Kuna swali pia niliona umejibu kusema about Rongai. You asked us, kila mtu kwa hii space wanatoka from different regions in Nairobi, in Kenya. Yeah. Rongai, people are killed. Githurai, people are killed. However, the information you receive, unadhani they tell you only one person was killed. Okay, that's a life too. They do not feed you. They do not feed you the actual information. So you are just weighing the deaths of people, the number of people. You just tonight, Kindiki was saying people are not killed, was not aware, people are not abducted. You are just arrested. Some of us were arrested. And your excuse is that the police unit is an independent body. Surely, Mr. President. Watu watakuwa wanauliwa alafu unasema police unit is independent. Alafu wakati wanauliwa your excuse unasema the economy is growing. How can this is right now the country is mourning. Properties worth of billions were banned. You have not addressed that. All you think about is the foreign policy and the economic status of the country, not about the livelihood of the common mananchi. Surely, Mr. President, we need you to be with you. Be empathetic. Your government should be empathetic. You should stop this issue of police brutality. That's what we want right now. Personally, the police came to my house at 3 a.m. They broke into my house. They refused to identify themselves, and that was it. We were abducted. It was like kidnapping. Hii mambo mimi sikumbuki, nilikuwa nadhani mambo ya movie. Mr. President, tulishikwa, tukapigwa. They even stole some stuff from our house. Imagine askari anakuja, akona bunduki anaingia kwa nyumba, akona mask, 12 of them with 12 cars arresting a single guy, an armed citizen. Alafu ukimwambia mbona anakuja kushika, anakupiga. In the meantime bado anachukua vitu kwa nyumba yako. Unapelekwa place fulani hata ujini, not even a police station. When my friends were reporting the issue to the police station, they were not even aware. For my case, they even went to Parkland police station. That's where I was arrested. The OCPD told the guys, we know about this thing, but will not take any action. Meaning it was very criminal. The OCPD, Parklands police station OCPD, deputy OCPD was very much aware what was going on. We were not booked in any single police station. We were taken in a certain house. I think it was a safe house or something. I was blindfolded. Some guys were blindfolded for like 12 hours. Surely, Mr. President, are we in a terrorist country? We just want you to answer that.
Okay.
This is why we're in this space.
Thank you very much, my friend. I regret your situation. If that is the kind of treatment you have gone through, I apologize. And I will take action in this manner. No Kenya. And I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that there will be no extrajudicial killing. There will be no River Yala. There will be no, we used to have 20, 30 bodies in River Yala. When I came into office, I said nothing of that is ever going to happen. And I want to promise the people of Kenya that will not happen under my watch. However, I have had the kind of horror you have gone through. That is not right. What I will do after this engagement, I would like, I don't know, in a very secretive way. If you can send me the details of what happened, I will be able to take action, because you don't deserve the kind of treatment that you went through. Let me also say the following. You have talked about empathy. Maybe, people are born differently. Maybe we empathize in different ways. For the case of the floods, I even convened a whole cabinet meeting to just respond to that matter of floods. 3 cabinet meetings. My minister was on the ground. I was myself in Kiamaiko, in person. I came there in Kiamaiko. And for the first time, my brother, for the first time, normally, when people are removed from places, they are brutalized. They are removed and nobody cares about where they go. Nobody cares about what happens to them. For the first time in the history of Kenya, I made sure that every Kenyan who was living in the riparian reserve was given money for alternative accommodation. We paid every Kenyan who left that place 10,000 shillings to be able to relocate away from the danger of the floods that were on the river. I mean, it was the best that I could do in that circumstance. And I promised them that under our housing program, because we now have their list, under our housing program, we are going to consider them the first beneficiaries of our social housing program. I made that commitment in public. If you ask our peers for housing, they already have the data on these Kenyans who were removed from the riparian reserve, who had to be relocated for their own safety. For your information, we lost many Kenyans who were sleeping there, but they were carried by the floods. And it was the best thing that I could do. I went there in person. My minister was there consistently. I had 3 different cabinet meetings to attend the issue. We committed close to 400 million to make sure that those Kenyans who were in that situation were attended to. Maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe I should have done more. Maybe then I should apologize for not doing more. But to the best of my ability, it is the first time the government of Kenya is providing money to relocate people who have been affected in situations like the one in the flood.
Okay, Mr. President, on the issue of Githurai, you said there was only 1 casualty, which is a lie. Mr. President, nakwambia tu kweli. Githurai inasemekana there are more than 200 people who were shot dead. Some wengine hata wajulikani mahali wako saizi, vile tunaongea ukweli saizi. In Rongai, they shot some guys pia. Wakakuficha wakakwambia ni mtu mmoja. Na ni ukweli, reality kwa ground watu walikuwa wanauliwa. Ni ukweli watu walikuwa wanauliwa. Tulikuwa huko, wote tulikuwa maandamano. Alafu kuna issue nyingine. This rogue cop amekuwa akichapa watu risasi, anachapa watu risasi open air, kila mtu ana camera there. The DCI doesn't do anything about it. Amekuwa all over social media, in the media, but you don't even say a word about him. His name is Murangiri. That killer cop ameua watu wanazikwa kila siku sababu yake. Juzi ilikuwa last week Wednesday, nilikuwa town. Nilimwona akitembea tu town vizuri along Moi Avenue, very happy, very healthy. He's a killer cop. Nothing has been done to him. Hivi tu tumekuwa complaint au kitambo. For how long should we be talking about this, about the killer cops?
Sorry.
You can go ahead, Mr. President.
My good brother, it is good to be brutally honest. And I will not, as president, or even as a Kenyan, ever say anything that is not factual, especially on a very serious matter of people losing lives. Are you saying 200 people were killed in Githurai. Really? I mean, my friend, I mean, where are can the family step forward? People who are saying our members of our family are missing. They went to Mandamano or they went to picket and they did not come back. 200 people is not a joke, my friend. So I really want to plead with you. I am sorry to tell you, you have wrong numbers. I'm sorry to tell you that. It is
Mr.
not
President,
possible.
we even have the names. It's all over social media. What
about social media? I want to offer you. I want to offer you.
We have the
tomorrow.
And the
I want to offer you to bring the names and family members of the people who are saying their loved ones are not there. Don't even take them anywhere. Bring them to State House. Them family members who are saying, I have lost so and so. My fellow, a member of my family was there on Monday last week. He went to Mandamano and he didn't come back. And where possibly are the bodies? You know. So I mean, really, my good friend, it is just good to be. You know, we are dealing with a very serious issue. Please let us not use information that is not verified. It just helps to create a situation that is not correct.
Mr. President, I have another question too. Kindiki yesterday.
Otero, tupatie wengine nafasi, at least you're a co-host.
Ya mwisho alafu nimuulize alafu ni ad mwingine. Mr. President, jana Kindiki alisema guys were being arrested, not abducted. When a guy is arrested, it means the area police station or the area OCS or CPD is aware. When I was arrested, Parkland's deputy OCPD was not aware. Meaning these abductions are very illegal. Right?
Let me say the following on matters of abduction. You know, fact, let us agree fact that the era of extrajudicial killing is no longer with us. There is a new problem called abduction. And it is something that I am going to exercise my mind on because the police have clear rules of how to arrest citizens if they have to arrest citizens. There is a clearly stipulated procedure on how that is done. And if anything is done outside the procedure, then it is illegal and it is punishable. So when the police arrest somebody, they must declare to that person that they are policemen, they are arresting this person for this and that and that and that, and they take him to a place that is known. So that is a matter that I will take up and I will deal with it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Otero, tuko na wewe bado utauliza maswali, naona umeanza wewe ni Otero, so unaamua vile utafanya, but patia watu wengine chance. We
okay.
have
Wakili Saruni.
We'll take 3 people, 3 at a time faster. We have I'll bring in Alai, followed by Edith, followed by Gray, and then you can give Wakili after that 4. So again,
Hussein, I really don't think Alai should speak because his comments will be biased. This space is basically about what we are going through in the street. Alai doesn't know about it. In short, Alai amekuwa kiongea mbaya kwa hili story ya maandamano. I really don't think
Alai can speak for himself. We can't limit anybody from speaking. Everybody has the freedom to speak here.
No, Alai is very bad.
So
thank you.
Let's have
Great Mara can speak, but Alai, no, he hasn't been against this.
Thank you. Otero, I've been an advocate of freedoms for a very long time, especially when we don't agree. So I would ask you to learn that lesson that you should listen to people, especially when they don't agree with you. And that's what the president is trying to do here. We don't agree with him, and that's why we want him to listen to us, and he agreed to come to the space. And moving forward, I really want to tell the president that, Mr. President, you know that your success is our success, and we really want you to succeed. The problem is that I don't know if you really want yourself to succeed as a president of Kenya. Because from the moment you got to be the president, there are things you did which I think just sabotaged your presidency. When you decided to say that you are not going to listen to intern doctors, I said, does the president know what he's doing? Because he's touching the hearts of Kenyans. These are the people who spend most of their time in public hospitals. When the president didn't take up the matter of pending bills and tell the counties and the national government to pay the pending bills, you know that one is touching the middle class, the working class. And these are the people who mobilize their children, called Gen Zs. And they came out and said no. When you removed Linda Jamii, when we interfered with Edu Afia, when we saw your friends and very close associates working with bands of money, 10, 20 million in churches, Mr. President, I think you sabotage your own presidency. And that's why I ask myself that the president really tells us that he means well for the country. But is he really meaning well for himself? Because unless somebody else is the president who is doing all these things, the second and last question, because I don't want to spend more time, I'm an elected official in Nairobi, Mr. President, is the issue of Nairobi on-source revenue, which we have asked, we have investigated, we have been taken around. Mara, it was KRA which is collecting that money. We have taken to the office of the president. Finally, we were told that it's being collected in State House by some agency. We can't get, I'm the vice chairman of ICT in Nairobi City County Assembly. But nobody knows who is collecting revenue for Nairobi City County, Mr. President. It really saddens me, because if that revenue was collected in a transparent and verifiable manner, then you know, Mr. President, some of these bills would be taken up by the counties and it will not come to you in the national government so as to pay those bills, Mr. President. Those are the only questions which I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Alai. Edith?
Yeah, thank you for the chance to ask a question.
Edith,
Hello.
are you with us? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, let's go to Gray if Edith is not responding.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, thank you so much.
Hello.
Hussein. This is Grayson. Hussein, can you hear me? Oteru nanisikia?
I can hear Eddie and I can hear the other gentleman.
I'd like to ask my
All right,
question if you can all hear me.
Okay, let's have one person speak. Gray, speak.
All right, thank you so much, Hussein. Edith, I'm sorry. So, Your Excellency, my name is Grayson Marwa. My question to you is one, and my question is on this very, very emotive and very, topic that we love talking about as a country, which is corruption. I know you stand on corruption. You have spoken about it many times. You don't condone corruption. You don't want corruption to happen in your government. But then I want to point out something. Recently, there was a scandal, with the fertilizer, and the CS was, impeached, or a motion was tabled in the National Assembly by a member of parliament for him to be impeached. But what happened later is that, the same members of parliament from your political party, the UDO party, went ahead and saved this particular cabinet secretary. What does that speak, to your stand regarding corruption? Do you support corruption on one hand, but on the other hand, because he is your CS, these are your members of parliament, they go ahead and flop that motion that was supposed to impeach this particular cabinet secretary? My last question, as a young person, there is a challenge of jobs in this country. But a month ago or so, in the day list, there was a freeze that the public service is not hiring anymore. What are you trying to tell young people? Yet you say each and every day you want to ensure that we give jobs to these young people who go to school but don't have jobs out here. People are, forced to do things that they shouldn't be doing, and they went through the education system. If I can get a response to those two issues, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Grayson,
Do I
uliza rudia question.
Do I answer those, or I thought we said we take three people? Can we take maybe Eddie? Eddie was somewhere. There is a lady called Eddie was somewhere or something.
Edith Kimani.
Otero, from my end, I see she's a listener. Maybe you can add her to speak from what I'm able to see on my end.
Okay.
As we wait for the engagement, can I proceed and answer?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Alai has mentioned three things. Mr. Alai, I want to tell you, Mheshimiwa, that I am acutely clear that even if I don't succeed, I want Kenya to succeed. The one thing that I am very clear about is what do we do to change the status of many Kenyans? Intern doctors. There was a long conversation with intern doctors. I made sure that they were attended to. I met the leadership of the intern doctors myself, finally, and we did make an agreement on how to sort out the intern doctor situation, including I have factored in this budget with their concurrence. When I agreed with them, we were supposed to sort out their arrears in 3 years. I offered to sort them out in 1 year after I engaged with them, and the money is in the budget. As I talk to you, I have even today decided that even with a cut of the finance bill, I will still make sure that they are sorted out. The issue of pending bills. You know, my good brother, we have pending bills in the region of 650 billion. It is the reason why I appointed Mr. Ouko, our former Auditor General, to interrogate all the pending bills for purposes of making sure that we can pay them. In fact, one of the items that I listed this afternoon, which was also in the budget, is a provision for us to begin the journey to sort out pending bills, because it is crippling businesses of people, it is destroying enterprises of Kenyans because government is not paying. The third thing that you have said about Linda Mama or Linda Jamii and Eduafia, I have done three things. Maybe the explanation. Let me give you the explanation. On Linda Mama. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, Mr. President. Sorry about that.
What we are doing is, under our universal health coverage, I promise the people of Kenya that we need to ensure that we don't leave other Kenyans behind. Under our universal health coverage, in which this year we now have a budget for it, we are going to scale up the benefits of Linda Mama. That is why we have brought it, we have scaled it up into universal health coverage. We want it to reach more Kenyans. That's number one. Number two, we want to enhance the benefits. The benefits were 2,500 for women giving birth in hospital, in smaller hospitals, 5,000, and maximum of 17,000. We have now changed that. From 2,500, we have moved the benefit to 11,000. And we have moved the upper benefit to 32,000. That is not a derogation. That is an upgrading of Linda Mama. Number two, Edu Afia. What we are doing with Edu Afia is that we are universalizing the universal health is universalizing insurance, so that every Kenyan, and you know, I made this absolutely clear, and that is why we have changed the law, so that not just the students who are in school, but every Kenyan, even those who are not in school, will now be beneficiaries of our chief social health. We, instead of having NHIF, we are now going to have social health insurance fund, which is going to cater for everybody, to universalize access. So on both cases, Mr. Alai, we are not derogating, we are upgrading and making sure that universal health is available to many Kenyans. Finally, on Nairobi on source of revenue, I thought I heard the governor say the other day that he had increased it, he had raised more revenue than was ever raised. I'm not sure about that. But I want to tell you that that is a Nairobi County affair. You, Mr. Alai, should not be asking me. The public should be asking you, because you are the person. You are the person responsible. You are the representative of the people. You should answer that question. You should be the one to interrogate the county government. It is your responsibility of oversight. It is your responsibility of representation. It is your responsibility of legislation. You should legislate how the county resources are raised. You should oversight the county government to collect it. I just want you to take up your job and do it. Let me, Gray Marwa has asked me two very important questions. Marwa, these are very important questions about corruption. Let me say the following, just three things first. Number one, I said before that corruption must be dealt with firmly and decisively. And that is why my act number one in office, the two acts that I did in office when I came into office was number one, to make sure that I give financial autonomy to the police so that they can pursue corruption to the extent possible, and that they don't have to come back to me, and nobody in my office will control the police in as to who they want to prosecute. That's number one. And I signed, and the budget of the police is run by the IG at the moment, and they are free to go after everybody. That's number one. Number two, I made sure that the judges that had been denied the opportunity to serve and to empower our judiciary, I signed them, and I made sure that they have been gazetted and they went to work. I did not stop there. I have enhanced the budget of the judiciary from 18 billion to this year. I wanted to be at 25 billion. Unfortunately, it may come down because of the finance bill by about $1 billion or so. Number three, I am the president who has sworn in the highest number of judges in 2 years in the history of Kenya. I have sworn in maybe 46, almost 50 judges, because I have agreed with the judiciary that justice delayed is justice denied. And therefore, I want to make sure that becomes the case. Number four, on the specific incident of what happened with fertilizer, I want to tell you, as I tell the people of Kenya, those where evidence has been gathered, sufficient evidence has been gathered, they are in court. The CEO, the general manager, and 7 other staff of the National Cereals and Produce Board are already in court. The minister was taken to Parliament to answer for political responsibility, that to make sure that his oversight role was in question. I want to tell you this, Gray, that we are a country of the rule of law. When a person has been, when allegations are made against a person and they are not verified, there is no way that such person can be held to account. But when they are verified, like the case of the officers who worked under the minister that were verified, they are in court. I want to tell you, if a minister, if a principal secretary, if there are verified allegations of corruption against any cabinet minister or any principal secretary, the day they are taken to court, I will fire them. I will not wait for the court process, because there will be an element of confirmation that these are people who are corrupt. Let me talk about jobs. And you have said correctly that the public service has issued a circular that there will be, there is a freeze on jobs. The public service has a freeze on jobs at different levels. People who are employed at entry level and the space around jobs is huge. Government can only hire a very small fraction. My intention, my plan is to make sure that government facilitates the economy, facilitates the private sector, facilitates the entire enterprise space to create more jobs. It is the reason why I made a deliberate commitment to the people of Kenya when I went for the elections, and I said I will focus on creating jobs. And if you want me to explain to you the areas where I am focused on creating jobs, I will. If you want me to tell you how many jobs I have created in the 2 years that I have been in office, I will tell you, from housing, from digital jobs, from going to manufacturing, all the way to export of labor. I will tell you how many jobs I have created, and I have every intention to make sure that as many Kenyans as possible have an opportunity to have an income so that they can contribute meaningfully to the development of our country. Thank you.
You can speak.
Thank you very much for this chance to maybe ask some few questions to the president. I'll be very brief. I only have 3 questions to make. One, Mr. President, is that like most of the people have said, is that your government is full of lies because of one 2023 was passed. We believe that the revenue that was going to be collected during that period were going to be used for development. Personally, I come from a Masab constituency, and on February of last year, the CS for Transport, Bonamur Komen, came to Kabiet Shrines and promised us that there is a road down there that's going to down from Kurgung to Chepterway, coming down to Kapkatembu. He said personally that since that this is a road that was left midway by the contractor, he was going to send the contractor in a record 3 months to be on site so that the road can continue so the contractor can start the construction. Up to now, we still haven't seen that. So that basically tells you that that is a liar. Number 2, I think the Gray has talked about the issue of fertilizer. You've said, Mr. President, that if you find that there is a case against the said minister, you're going to fire him. There is a case that has been filed by the Law Society of Kenya against the Minister of Agriculture. If kindly, we can tell the minister to step aside so that, trying to investigate someone who is in office becomes very hard. So let the minister step aside so that we can continue with the investigation. Number 3, I would want to talk about the arrogance. The arrogance that is in your government. I have heard Mr. President say that the issue of Finance Bill 2024 was, I think it was packaged in a way that maybe you should have done it better. Yes, you should have done it better. The reason being, the people you sent out there, since like the MP for Molo, on the issue of the motor vehicle levy, at some point in the TV, he told people that, if you cannot be able to pay that, just leave your vehicle at home. That is the arrogance that was being displayed. The leader of majority in parliament, Kimani Ichung'wah, even went out on a podium, said that, that these are the Gen Zs, they come with the phones, they go to KFC, they go, and then they come with an Uber. That is the arrogance that fueled all this anger that you're seeing in people. And then lastly, on the issue of, I come from, this region of Uasin Gishu and maybe Nandi and Uasin Gishu. There was an issue of the Finland scam that happened. There's a case in court. Parents paid for the money. The case is dragging in court. So actually, what you saw in Elred, I think it's more of it wasn't even more finance bill. It's the anger that has been building up. It's been building up. So people were really angry because they've paid, people sold their land. The issues are still there. Nobody's talking about. We have a case that is in court. It can drag to 5 years. So what happens with the money that is been lost, that someone was going to go to school tomorrow, or by next year, maybe they would have graduated. So I think those are the issues that I have. I want you to address in regards to the areas that I have mentioned. Thank you.
Wakili Saruni can speak.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for this opportunity to address you, and thank you very much, the host, Hussein and Osama. My name is Jesse Saruni, or rather Wakili Saruni. I am the president of University Students in Kenya, KUSO. And Your Excellency, I have a few concerns. But first, allow me to give you a background of why, in my opinion, I feel comrades were very disturbed about the finance bill. Your Excellency, if you look at the finance bill 2023-2024, it introduced housing levy at around 3%, which was to be redeemable. However, during public participation, the people, most of the people, including comrades, said that we can start at 1.5%. But without communication, the parliament went ahead and reviewed and made it to be 1.5%, but they removed the clause that allowed people to redeem the savings after they retire. Your Excellency, I would wish to hear from you whether it can be reverted so that this can be redeemable. But as I continue, Your Excellency, I was part of your team during the campaign, and one of the things that we were saying during the campaign, because I actively campaigned using the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, was the 30% of appointments of youth in different positions, and including a youth advisor to the cabinet. However, Your Excellency, currently we have an advisor to the cabinet on women affairs, but we do not have an advisor to the cabinet on youth affairs. I was concerned whether this was deliberately left out, or I was just a little bit concerned with that. Your Excellency, another key concern that affects comrades, around 6,000 graduates went through diploma in law, and this is in regard to career progression. So they did their diploma in law, and they proceeded to do their degree in law. Your Excellency, before 2014, everyone who did their diploma and did their degree in law were able to proceed to the Kenya School of Law for the ATP Advocates Training Program. But the laws were changed in 2014, and this affects around 6,000 university students who are working in law firms and getting underpaid. And I am happy to see that the president of LSK, who is very passionate about issues of youth, is also here. Your Excellency, there is an amendment bill in Parliament that is on the Speaker's desk and has stayed for so long. Your Excellency, this is something that is under the office of the Attorney General. And with the indulgence of the Attorney General, I believe this thing can be, we can find an approach where this thing can be addressed, of course, through the office of the Attorney General, so that these comrades can stop the suffering. They are not able to proceed to self-actualization, because most of them would want to become advocates of the High Court, but they are not able due to that change in the Act of Parliament. Your Excellency, another concern is on students and youth leadership.
Wakili, I really hate to do this, but please, we've only gone through 5 questions. I think there are so many people on attack.
Okay, just one more.
Kindly, we agreed. Yeah, please, kindly.
Okay. Your Excellency, in regards to university students and youth leadership, you can see that we have the National Youth Council, which is constituted. It's supposed to hold elections. And I feel, Your Excellency, the youth feel that they have not been able for a long time to represent their grievances because they are not able to elect their leaders directly. And this goes back even to the University Amendment Act, which introduced the delegate system, which I feel that the universities have found a way to maneuver so that they make sure that the students who are elected are students who they can be able to maneuver and manipulate. Your Excellency, finally, on the issue of branding, the projects that our members of parliament and all other people has the aspect of when the projects are complete, people tend to brand their names on these projects. Your Excellency, these projects are financed by taxpayers, and it is the request of the young people and the youth that when it comes to branding, we would rather have these projects branded that they have been financed by the Kenyan taxpayer. I will leave it at that, Your Excellency, and thank you very much. But of course, there is the issue of mental health. I appreciate we cannot exhaust all these things in one sitting, but I'm looking forward to more engagements in other platforms. Thank you very much, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. The final question of the three, the ex-councillor.
Good evening, everyone. You can hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
My first request to the host and the co-host, please do not give the elected people the chance to speak, one of them a lie and me. You can hear me, Osama? Can you save the time? Elected MPs, any elected official should not take this chance apart from the president. So thank you very much for the time. I have two things more. I don't want to repeat a lot of things.
In the meantime, I just want to address the president.
Number one,
Mr. President, si tunataka kujua huyu askari amekuwa akiwa watu kwa maandamano atashukua siku gani? Kwa vile amekuwa kirom freely tangu last month, amekuwa to all over the city. Tulikuwa tunataka kujua atashukua siku gani, kwa vile ilikuwa inasemekana amekuwa hivyo tangu kitambo na sio wa kwanza. You just need answers about him. Thank you.
Okay, he will answer that plus Councillor, finish, please. Thank you.
Yeah, my question is to the president. Why is it that the things you're asking about today are not new things? They are things you did promise in your campaign, and the other time you're being played with videos of you saying the same thing. You had to find a way of not listening to those videos. The one thing that you promised us, one of them is corruption. Your people around you, you've addressed this one. You can't tell me out of the 100 people you have around you, 90% are corrupt or have story of corruption, and you are doing nothing about them. I'm a medic by profession, and the issue of NHIF, which is moving now to shift. I read the last 2 days of millions, 300 millions, another 900 million today, disappearing to wrong or fake claims. I'm wondering, if the change from NHIF to shift, will it improve or just another way to get more money for people around your circle to buy houses, buy big cars, and laugh at us? Now, Mr. President,
Councillor, those are about two questions. Now let's have the president answer. We don't have a lot of time. We have Ruto wengi. They need to ask questions to the president. Please let the president respond to that. If we get another chance, tutauliza swali ya tatu tafadhali.
Very much. Thank you very much, good people. Let me start with the gentleman. I didn't get his name, from Osop. And that gentleman says we have too many lies flying all over the place. Let me just state. Let me just put it clearly. So many people have spread this story about William Ruto not telling the truth or making fake promises. I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that there will be a hustler fund. Today, there is a hustler fund that takes care of 2 million Kenyans. I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that fertilizer is going to come down. It has come down from 7,000 to 2,500. I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that we will have a housing program. Today, 103,000 houses are being built with 160,000 young people, real people, engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, plumbers, technicians working. I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that we are going to sort out matters in the education sector. Today, we have hired the highest number of teachers in Kenyan history in one time, 56,000 teachers. I made a commitment that I am going to sort out the mess that was in our universities. Today, ask any vice chancellor. With our new funding model, we have sorted out the challenge that was there in our universities. Today, lecturers are being paid. No university today is about to close down. When I came into office, most universities were teetering on being closed because of debts. I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that I am going to implement universal health coverage. Today, as I talk to you, we have 100,000 community health promoters in every village in Kenya that I pay, that I have equipped to begin the journey towards universal health coverage. As I talk to you today, there are 4 pieces of legislation that we have implemented, that we have enacted to actualize universal health coverage. I can go on, and I can tell you, every commitment that I made, I said I am going to appoint the judges that were not there, I did. I said I'm going to operationalize the fund for the police, independent police, I did. I said I am going to enhance the budget of the judiciary, I did. When people want to conveniently say a few things that propagate a certain narrative, it is easy. But let me leave that there. Let me go back to the Mosop Kurgung story. I want to tell you, my good brother, we have stalled roads in Kenya. In fact, the debt we have on roads is 910 billion. Because we rolled out a program that we didn't have money to do. It is what is troubling me now. It is why many people are asking me, why are you outside the country? I went to China, for example, and I got 40 billion shillings to do at least 8 roads that were stalled. I have come back from the US, and we have had a consultation, and we are getting money to be able to roll out some of our roads, courtesy of concessional funding from the World Bank. I have had conversations with the president of Germany, and they are giving us money under the same program for us to be able to meet some of our programs. I want to tell my good friend from Osop that we are focused on these areas. These roads did not stall yesterday. These roads have stalled for a while. We are figuring out how to make sure that we deal with that situation. And my apologies that maybe the minister did not keep his word, and I'm going to remind him. Let me do the following. On fertilizer, I want to agree with you on this subject of fertilizer first. Let me say this. Fertilizer has made a very big difference in Kenya. Because of our program on fertilizer, we have managed to increase our food productivity. For example, on maize alone, from 44 million bags to 67 million bags last year. This year, we are going to pay the highest bonus ever in Kenyan history for our tea. In fact, our tea production, because of the support we gave KTDA, has increased from last year. It was 180 billion shillings that we collected from our tea. This year, it's going up to 210 billion. On coffee, the average payment of coffee last year was in the region of 70-80. As I talk to you now, because we supported our tea farmers, the average payment for our coffee is in the region of between 100, 120, in some very good cases, 129 shillings per kilo. The whole array of what we have done with fertilizer is phenomenal. And therefore, I understand when somebody like my friend from Morsop gets annoyed when there are people who want to sabotage a program that is making a very big difference in Kenya. And that is the reason why I didn't delay 1 minute. When this issue of fake fertilizer came into the public, all the officials that were involved in it at the National Cereals and Produce Board were charged. When the minister is when there is evidence gathered enough for the minister to be held to account, I want to promise you that I will fire him and any other minister for that matter, if there is sufficient evidence to hold anybody accountable. Arrogance. I agree with you that not everybody understands communication. Let me tell you, my good friend from Mosop, the day you become a public speaker, you will know how easy it is to make a mistake in the public. Sometimes you say things that you did not mean, but it comes out very badly. So whether it is the member of parliament for Molo, the member for parliament for Molo is a young man. I can tell you that young man is doing his very best. In fact, when I made him the chair of finance committee, many people told me he was too young. I shouldn't have made it. But I wanted to test also young people. And I wanted to mentor young people. And I want to say, he has made mistakes. But I want to tell you that young man is bright. He has a bright future. He made mistakes. I will apologize for him. Maybe he said what he shouldn't have said. But they are among the young people I am mentoring so that they can become leaders tomorrow. Same case with my friend Kimani Ichung'wah. In fact, after he made that statement in, I think it was maybe in Baringo or somewhere, I called him. I told him, look, this is not how to engage the public. If you follow the next day, he had managed to correct his statement. And he had done, an about turn of some sort. Because let me tell you, my good friend from Mosop, I have also one duty as a leader in Kenya. I have a duty to mentor other leaders. They will make mistakes. They will demonstrate, maybe some arrogance, maybe either inadvertently or in whatever manner. But partly, it's because of inexperience, partly because of not a fair understanding of things. But I sometimes will want to take responsibility because these are members of my team, and I will correct them. Let me also say about what you said about the Finland story in Eldoret. It is really unfortunate that people sold property, land, livestock for their children to go to Finland. I wish I could go to court and tell the court to jail these people. Unfortunately, there's something called rule of law. There's something called due process. If these people had not been arrested, if nothing had not been done about it, then I would think that there would be a matter. But these are people who have been arrested. They are, as I talk to you, presently in court. They are being taken through due process. And I am very confident that if they are guilty, the law is going to deal with them. Let me go to Saruni, Akili. You said about the 1.5. It is true. There was a proposal of 3%. The public told us that we do not want a levy. If you want, collect a tax, reduce it to 1.5. So both reduction to 1.5 and changing to a tax was actually coming from public participation. This is what the public said. If the public are going to make a different suggestion going forward, we will respect what the public will have said going into the future. Am I still audible? Are you there?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you're
Let me say this. I agree with you, my friend, that I said that I would have an advisor in my office for young people. But maybe I did something different. I gave many young people. If you go to parliament, if you look at the leader of Senate, if you look at the leader of many committees in parliament, I made young people. If you look at my deputy comptroller of State House, these are young people. I decided to have more more principal secretaries. If you look at the profile of my principal secretaries, you have people in their 30s, many of them serving in substantive positions. In fact, many people were asking me whether these girls, some of them look like they are, or these boys, whether they can be principal secretaries. And I am very proud of them. They are doing a wonderful job. But that is something I will consider, Saruni, that as a way of keeping a promise, I think that is something I need to consider. And thank you very much for your feedback. Let me also say on the matter of the law that is bringing problems to 6,000 diploma law students who, because of a law in 2014, I will take it up with the AG. Ordinarily, professional organizations like the legal fraternity are normally regulated by professional bodies like the LSK and all the others. If we get a recommendation from the LSK to the Attorney General, I will be able to facilitate and make sure that we don't enfranchise 6,000 people in Kenya who have undergone training and who need to practice law in the way they want to do. I agree with you that there has been a problem with the Kenya Youth Council. We need to deal with it. And I have told Ababu Namwamba, my minister for young people, to look at whether we have the right forum. The problem with the Youth Council, it has always looked like it is a government agency. We want to make sure that it doesn't look like a government corporation or a government agency. We want it to be a young people's organization in a way that government influence and government intervention is limited so that the young people can speak for themselves. I would welcome ideas, Saruni, from university leadership on how we can make the Youth Council better, more democratic, and more representative of the young people. I couldn't agree with you more on this branding issue. I see faces of people all over the place on government projects that have been done. And I think it is meant to look like they did it with their own money. I agree with you that this branding, if it costs public money, it should stop. And it is feedback that I am going to take in to see to it that no public money is used to paint people's photo on government projects. Let me answer ex-councillor. I'm told he's ex-councillor, but he's also a doctor. This is good. I didn't know that an ex-councillor, a doctor can be an ex-councillor, but that is good. He has asked me about the NHIF and the transition to shift. Let me tell my brother, I didn't get his name, that the reason why we are shifting from NHIF to shift is because NHIF is limited. NHIF only captures a small section of our society. It is my intention, as I made a commitment to the public, that every Kenyan must have two things: must have access to healthcare and must have access to health insurance. We must make sure that those people, even those who cannot afford NHIF, because there are many people who cannot afford the 500 we are paying at the moment. And that is why we have brought in a means testing system so that the people who cannot afford the 500, we have now reduced it to 300 under the new program. And even those who cannot afford 300, the government of Kenya is going to pay for them, so that no Kenyan will go to hospital, whether they are suffering from hypertension or cancer or diabetes or whatever. Either they get treatment because level 1, 2, and 3 are free, or they can go to a referral hospital and there is an insurance system. Through SHIFT, that's the social insurance that is going to make sure that their bills are paid. So, and let me tell you, one very important addition to this program is the digital health platform. The biggest problem we have had in NHIF is the digitization process. We lose a lot of money because of collusion between hospitals and staff at NHIF. In fact, you saw in the public media that there are hospitals that have more accountants than medical officers because they are gaming the system. We have now standardized all tariffs. There is no way you can be treated by malaria in one hospital and you pay 1,000 and treated for malaria in another hospital and pay 100. We have standardized, whether it is public, whether it is private hospital, we have now standardized treatment. That is what happens world over in countries that understand how to manage matters health. So this is a comprehensive program. It is one program that will change the face of Kenya. Kenyans will no longer have to sell their land, sell their property to go and pay for hospital bills. We will, all of us, stop these harambes and the public collections that we are collecting to go and deal with people. So, my good friend, this is the plan. We have gone through it with Parliament. We have enacted 4 pieces of legislation. It was my plan to launch it on the 1st of this month. Unfortunately, because of the challenges we've gone through with the finance bill, we have shifted it to begin 1st of October, but the process of registration has already started. I think we are on day 4, and already over 100,000 Kenyans have been registered. So, and I want to encourage all Kenyans to register so that we can be able to plan for our health together as the people of Kenya. And we can even plan for our health commodities, and we can be able to secure everybody from matters illness. Thank you very much.
Not finish my questions. So as I continue, but my main point was corruption, whether it's an HIF or chief. I told you 300 million paid to fake claims, around 9 million today, early in the morning. Will this stop in the new system? Is that since you came into power now 2 years ago, the only thing you keep mentioning is the price of Unga going down and the housing project, which we do know very well will not be occupied with the common Mwananchi like me. So do you have another project that you can always tell us? The things you promise, a lot of things from police killings, that things are happening. Which one are you going to address other than the 2 of price of Unga and housing? Now, in the police thing, there's somebody, as someone has told you, you have not addressed, someone was asking, there's a police that killed somebody, is believed to have killed the first Rex, the first death of the protests. Still roaming. The other day was seen in a video shooting directly to a crowd. I didn't see the end of the bullets. I cannot tell the crowd to a wall. What is happening to this? When are these people getting arrested? What is the CI doing about them? Why is it that the nobodies are getting arrested, arraigned in court in very few days, but then the big boys are just sitting somewhere eating our taxes? What are you doing about them? What is your direction to address this issue?
Thank you.
So, and also, if you notice something in the pattern, there are the last Mandamano, the recent one that was full of goons. How come the first four, there were no this violence? But then there is the last one, with coffin in town and police entertaining these people dropping the coffin from the lorry, as well as seen parking them back in the lorry in the evening. It's clear that somebody was behind this and the police could not touch the very people that were doing this. But when it was another person with a phone and a bottle of water, they get shot, they get tear gassed. What is happening? Why do you speak A and do C? What instruction are you giving to the police? Yesterday I saw that you are praising the police for having done a good job professionally. Well, people died. What are we praising here? What Kenya are we looking at? So can we just match the word with the action? We've been talking too much. We see you on TV every day. We're on space. When are we getting to see action? Let me give space for other people. Thank you.
Also, Mr. President, have you tried to reach the families of those who were shot dead by the police or injured by the police? Even a single one? Have you tried to reach even their mothers?
Thank you very much. Let me just speak to two of the things that you have. Yes, I have tried to reach out to Kennedy Onyango's mother, Jessica Onyango. And in fact, I am scheduled to engage with them. I have already sent a message, and they were not available, but they know that I have been looking for them, and I will be speaking to them shortly. On the matter of this rogue police officer that you say is roaming, that is something that I would want to get exact details of who this is, and I can tell you that we will apprehend him and deal with him in accordance with the law. But let me answer also what my friend...
We'll send you video and pictures.
Pardon? Pardon?
If you're having a difficulty locating the police, we have videos and pictures of them.
Okay.
So that should be easy.
Please forward the picture and photos to me, to Hussein, my spokesman here, and also I would appreciate if you can send it to also my inbox if you can, or if you can send it to the Independent Police Oversight Authority. We will deal with it. But let me also respond to you about matters corruption. I want to promise you that part of the pushback we had on implementing our universal health coverage is because of corruption. Very many corrupt people who are gaming NHIF were against what we were doing. That is why they went to every court available, trying to sabotage this program, because they know that they will be out of business once we roll out this program, because there will be no room for them to hide. It is also the reason why, my good friend, I am digitizing government services, because I want to reduce the interaction between Kenyans and officers who sometimes ask for bribes left, right, and center. I want Kenyans to access public service from the comfort of their offices or their phones or their homes. But let me speak to the subject of corruption in that matter. Number one, we will operate a digital system through and through, whether it is with KEMSA, we are digitizing KEMSA, we are digitizing commodity distribution, we are digitizing matters to do with the all health hospitals. In fact, the program that is going on now, we have grouped hospitals into PCNs, where we are grouping a number of hospitals into one PCN in every sub-county, so that we can identify where these hospitals are, and we are working with the counties. I know you have said that the only thing I talk about is hunger and housing. Let me also tell you, the whole housing plan is not just about houses, my brother. It is about real people, real jobs. Jobs in our industries that manufacture cement, jobs in our industries that manufacture steel, jobs in our industries that manufacture clinker, jobs, engineers, architects, accountants, HR managers, and many people who are working in that ecosystem. And beyond that, let me also tell you, my manifesto is a 5-year manifesto. What what I am doing now is a cut. There will be an exam in 5 years. And I will tell you, when I do the exam in 5 years, you will see the results. Number two, beyond what I am doing on the space of jobs around housing, I am actively doing a big program on digital jobs. I was in Ruto the other day, launching with CCI a digital hub that is hiring, as I talk to you today, 5,000 Kenyans in Ruto. I challenge you, you can go to Ruto tomorrow to CCI, you will find them working. And they are not the only ones. We have 140,000 Kenyans today who are working in different parts of Kenya, in TVETs, in ICT hubs, who were not working before I came to office. Today they are working because I have a very clear plan on digital jobs. When I talked in my manifesto about digital superhighway, it was not a write-up. It was not an essay. It was something that I intended to implement. As I talk to you, we are rolling out fiber optic using our power lines across Kenya. And in this year's budget, I had set money to work with the constituencies, with members of parliament, to make sure that there is an ICT hub in every ward in Kenya, where young people in ordinary places in every ward can have access to the internet, to computers, and to make sure that these young people are trained and they can have access to a digital platform where they can work. As I talk to you, listen to me carefully, 149 to be exact, 1,000 young people who you can contact today are monetizing their talent on the digital platform, working under the program that I have set up. So it is not just housing. It is not digital jobs only. Let me also tell you, today, because of the program that I have rolled out on matters to do with export of our labor, as I talk to you, last year, 120,000 Kenyans went to work abroad in different countries. I've had a good sister there say, what is the president doing in Germany? What was the president doing in America? I want to explain to her simply, what was the president doing in France? We are signing 19 new bilateral labor agreements that will give an opportunity for Kenyans who want to work abroad, an opportunity to export their talent. I'm talking about engineers, I'm talking about accountants, I'm talking about HR managers, I'm talking about workers in different fields who want to go abroad. And I have now begun the process of professionalizing over the last 2 years that whole ecosystem of labor and export of labor out of Kenya. That is why we are seeing an increment, not just in jobs, domestic workers, I don't know, drivers, I don't know what. The reason why we are negotiating new bilateral agreements is that we want to go beyond those workers at that level. We want to export skilled labor, we want to export professionals, and we are creating the ecosystem for that to happen. In fact, if I tell you now, if you go to www.neaims.go.ke, you will see that there are 400,000 jobs on that platform. Different kind of jobs from different countries. We are now trying to make sure that those jobs will not be 400,000, they will be 1 million, and they will be largely, as we conclude these bilateral labor agreements, they will include many professional jobs, many skilled jobs. And I want to challenge the young people listening to me on this X forum, that is an opportunity. You can go to eCitizens today and check whether what I am telling you is true or not, whether those jobs exist or they don't. And I want to challenge everybody to go to that space, because that is one of our strategies. In fact, I saw on a Friday when there was a demonstration, one gentleman from my village was interviewed, and he said, the president has failed us because there are not many jobs in Kenya. The problem is that so many people are still going abroad to look for jobs. Little did that guy know from my village that I am the one who facilitated those who have gone abroad. It is part of my strategy to create opportunities. Let me finish by saying, in this year's budget, the whole trajectory was about manufacturing. You know, how do you create local jobs, my friend? The days when we just used to say, oh, we are going to grow the economy and the economy is going to create jobs, that is gone. We have to be deliberate. Housing, I know how many jobs I'm going to create in housing. Digital jobs, I know how many jobs I'm going to create. Export of labor, I know how many jobs I'm going to create. Now, what I had done in this year's budget is to put a mechanism where we promote our own manufacturing, local manufacturing, using local materials, hiring local labor and local professionals, and creating local wealth. There is absolutely absolutely no way we are going to grow jobs in Kenya by making Kenya a supermarket for other countries, by making Kenya an importer of everything.
We can't hear you. You're done.
He's done. Omondi.
Okay, one last question. One last question before I give somebody the mic. I'm seeing several questions flowing to me. It's also mine. I'm made to understand there's a bill on your table about the IBC reconstitution. I'm wondering how long should this be? Or the other question would be, was it a deliberate not to assign the bill so that when your people, the people that are guiding you, people that cannot listen to us, when you want to try to send them home, we cannot because there's no IBC commission that's in place. So what is about IBC? Because personally, I come from Nyanza, and my home MP is at Andi. But if I was coming from Nairobi or somewhere and surrounding, the MPs that really need to go home, and the law that there is no IBC to be able to do this. Because they have been arrogant,
Parliament just passed the bill. It has found its way to my office. And I want to tell you, I will be expeditious. It will not go beyond Tuesday, and the bill will be signed and gazetted so that we can proceed with the process. I am just keeping it within the law.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I think we can get another. I'm having issues with my phone. I don't know why. I mean, Fanyele Kitu. So let's get.
Hi guys. Can you hear me? Osama, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mila.
So mine is not, guys have said all the things that guys would have to say. Mine is, Mr. President, probably, I think I should address you as Baba Sharlin. Probably you will get where I'm coming from.
And can I have your name if you don't mind? Do you mind saying your name? But if you don't want, it's okay.
My name is Mila.
Mila. Okay, Mila.
So on the eve of the guys who are protesting to the parliament, I'm a photographer and that's what I do. And the guy who was shot, he was shot right in front of me. And it's something that has been living with me in my head since that day. And it really pisses me off. Like, I'm really pissed off. Like, the day you addressed the nation on that Tuesday, no one was remorseful. Like there was no, like, it's like, I don't know. It's just like, life doesn't matter to you guys in the government. Okay, I'll give you that. Later you came and apologized, but still, people in your government walk to TV stations. It's like life don't matter. And that thing, it has been disturbing me because I saw the boy being killed. Even if you go back, you can go check Larry Madowo videos. He traced how the boy was. He was carrying nothing. Like literally, he was carrying nothing. I know you've spoken about this over and over, but my question is, and it's not even a question, mine is probably just go back and reflect. You are a father, you are a granddad. How would someone feel when the child is dead? I bet from where I stand, none of your government officials have even visited the families or reached out to the families from where I stand. Probably you guys just go back and reflect. Do we really matter as people who elected you? Like, where do we stand? Where do we stand as young youths? Like the guy called Rex, he was a guy, basically, he was a guy who was born in 2002. Now he's dead. How does the mother feel? And some of your officials work in TV stations, go on social media, and they're like, wanajipiga kifua, mtu anajipiga, and that someone died. It's painful, Mr. President. I'm talking this because I saw the boy dead. I even have the videos when the boy was shot. All I'm asking is, let's have empathy. Someone just reaching out, huh? And to the families. That's all I'm saying. Guys, go back and reflect and just have empathy. And then this thing of guys kujipiga kifua, it doesn't make sense. Someone like Nyamu, like, why is he even there? That's all I have to say.
Yeah, speak.
So kitu ya kwanza mi sijui kizungu
Unasikia? Hello?
Sorry, we lost you, my friend. Tulikupoteza hapo kidogo, hatukusikia. Sorry.
Can I speak?
Sorry, good people. I don't know whether are we still online? I don't know whether. Are we there?
Yes, you're online.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello? Can we go on?
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything. I don't know whether. Are we on?
Yes.
Yes, we are on.
I think there's nobody asking question. Perhaps I ask as we get out on the board. Maybe I'm talking too much or asking too much. Forgive me for that, but nobody's speaking. Another question is not another question that I've seen people saying or asking you rather to don't reshuffle the cabinets or the CS, moving from the one ministry to the other. You've seen that one before. What you're seeing is just transferring competence in one field to another department or another ministry. Please get new faces. You have a lot of people around you. You have brains behind you. When I was growing up, when I was young, in the time of Kibaki, I used to associate being a minister with some smart people, and you are one of those people in your spot back then. Suddenly, this day, you have people. The best they can deliver is just abuses and too much, too mouthy. Can you just bring us new people that are going to work? As recent as yesterday or 2 days ago, one of your team came out to tell us that the money we've been contributing for the injured and those we lost in this struggle was waived by Kenyatta National Hospital and other public hospitals. She came late. The person that was in charge has been doing an excellent job. Hanifa keeps everything better than the government. Every detail of spent, telling us ABC has done by her. That give us transparency, not these other people that just keep saying.
Okay, let me. Mila made a very passionate and I think correct analysis of what happened. especially of Kennedy, who died in Rongai. And I believe that he is right. That's really a very regrettable situation. And I apologize on behalf of every official who should have done something about that situation. I have explained that the boy who died in Rongai was actually shot by one of the criminals who actually snatched the gun from the police. That criminal was, however, shot by the police, because if the police did not shoot him, then he would have caused more deaths of more Kenyans, because these are reckless people. Sometimes some of those people are not even in their correct level of senses, and therefore it is regrettable. And I agree with you. It is really unfortunate that you watched an incident that's going possibly to affect your life for a long time. Sorry about that. And I know you have made reference to me as a father, which is true. I have 4 Gen Zs in my home, and I promise you they take me to task, on some of these things, and I have to do a lot of explaining some of the time. And this is just the same way I'm explaining to you guys here. I agree that some of our officials are arrogant. Some of them, speak out of turn, and some of them display, obnoxious opulence, if I may say that, which does not just anger the public. Sometimes I call in some of those people and I give them a piece of my mind, because even Nyamu, I have had occasion to sit her down, and tell her, she needs to change what she's doing. And when you are in my position, you are also a father figure. Some of these young people, they get excited about many things, and sometimes they do the wrong things. And I want to tell you that I know somebody here mentioned Karen Nyamu. Karen Nyamu is a girl I've had to sit her down sometimes and tell her, look, she needs to do things differently. So I agree with you that, but I have also undertaken, I have said, I know what is cutting, I know what's going on, and I have promised that I will be making changes. I know you have said that I should not make changes. I should clean the slate clean. But you see, you don't have the job I have. And there are many things that I have to do to be able to get things done. And it's quite something. But I have had you, and I have had the many Kenyans who have talked on this platform, and I'm very happy that we are having this conversation on X. So let me, I don't know, because I had promised that I'll be here up to 5. I think it is now 5:15. And I have another assignment with our Olympics team that are coming to. I have a bunch of wonderful Kenyans who are going to represent us in Paris. They are sitting somewhere outside my office. And with a lot of respect, I want to say to all the people who have asked me the very important questions, very
Mr.
difficult
President,
questions.
I have a final remark before you go. It's Kioti speaking here.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. President, before you continue, I'm Marvin Mabonga. I come from Kimilili constituency in Bungoma County. So, Mr. President, before you go, I want to let you know that in your cabinet, currently we are having so many incompetent cabinet secretaries. For instance, let me give you an example of your friend, Kipchumba Murkomen. Kipchumba Murkomen did law. He has never been in any law firm in this country. He has never won any case. But currently, he's heading the Ministry for Road and Transport. My question is, between where is the conjunction between the Ministry of Transport and a lawyer? In that department, you should be putting there a person who has done even civil engineering, who knows so much about construction. Lastly, the Minister for Agriculture, that person, he even doesn't have a bachelor's. We all know this information. We have the government's website and we Google, we see this information. So, Mr. President, if you are going to give us those people who are incompetent, then we are totally doomed. You know, when we elected you as the president, normally they say, you set a thief to catch a thief. But this time round, when we elected you, Mr. President, that you can help us now catch those people who are corrupt in this nation, you're just there laughing with them. Look at Oscar Sudi. He's flaunting with 20 million in a bag in a public forum. I'm even told that there is one of the cabinet minister who was caught in Dubai with 20 million cash, and you actually came through him, so he wasn't taken to a court somewhere or arrested. You know that, Mr. President. Personally, where I sit, I want to pay my rent by 10th, but because I finished campus, I don't have any job anywhere. I'm just here in the city seated. I will not be able to pay that rent because you promised to give us the jobs. But when we elected you, you are now telling us that in the next 1 year, we are not going to employ the youth. Mr. President, do you think that one is not a lie? Lastly, the other day you said, when you were questioned about the boy who was shot, you didn't know whether he was alive or dead. But now you know that the person who shot that boy is not the police officer. Mr. President, do you think that is a reality? That one is not a reality. I'm very angered person because every time we get to those public offices, we are treated like trash. And that's why the other day I was even on the forefront. You can watch the videos. I was on the forefront in those protests to demand for my right. And now here, Mr. President, you are just taking us through the corners. You are not even going straight to the point. Kindly go straight to the point. When you are asked about the person who is corrupt, you say, this person is corrupt. He has been working with millions of money. Tell us, Omanga bought 60 with 50 million a vehicle, which is flaunting now on social media. Apart from that, tell us that this fertilizer was fake, even as much as it was dropped from 7,000 to 2,000, it is full of soil. So why are we playing games with the public money, with the money that our mothers and fathers are going through sweat to get it, Mr. President? Wherever we are not happy. And of course, if these things are going to happen this way, then come 2027, we are going to come out in large numbers, Mr. President. We'll take votes and we'll take those people home, including you. If at all you're not going to fight for our own rights as your people in this nation. Thank you so much. I'm very angered, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend Martin. I understand your anger, and you are perfectly in order to be angry because the situation where you're out of university without a job is something that I have lived through myself. In fact, when I finished university, I did not get a job until I was elected as a member of parliament. But that's not for another day. But let me tell Martin that next week, for example, as part of our housing program, just hold on. As part of our housing program, we will be hiring 3,600 professionals like yourself. I want to challenge you, Martin. There will be an advertisement next week for engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, and many in the construction field, because we are looking for people who are going to work with our professional firms in our housing program. Let me also tell you, Martin, that we need to separate the issues that are correct and the issues that are fake news. The issue of some minister being found in Dubai, I don't know, last week, with $200 million or something, is fake news. That is not true. On matters to do with people you have mentioned were in different areas, today, I am here as a scientist, right? And many other people are doing many things from fields they did not necessarily train in. Because at a certain level, it is a management issue. It is a leadership issue. It is an issue about leading an organization. So I have heard you on some of the incompetent people you have said, some of the corrupt people you have said. I have listened to you. But let me say this to the public. Of the fertilizer that we supply to the Kenyan public, almost 6 million bags, 20,000 bags were the ones with a challenge. We isolated the 20,000 bags. It is not even 1% of the fertilizer that we supplied to the Kenyan public. I do not want an impression to be created as though the fertilizer we supply to the people of Kenya in millions had any challenge. And when we detected a problem with the 20,000, we not only recalled the ones that had not been sold, but we made sure that
our name is on Google Map.
I made sure that any farmer who had used fertilizer that was not correct was compensated. They were given an extra bag of fertilizer for them so that they don't end up in losses. I have heard you, Martin, as I have heard all the good people here. But let me say this in closing. This feedback is very
close, but
Please, can I also have an opportunity to speak, Mr. President, before you finish?
Acha kwanza niongee wewe Janet.
If you can be
kitu ya kwanza
if you can be brief, so that
yeah, I am brief. I am talking in Kiswahili ndio uelewe haraka.
Ndio.
Kitu ya kwanza
Order guys.
Is anyone speaking, or can I speak? Osama?
You can speak.
Okay. First of all, good evening, Mr. President and everyone here.
Good evening, my dear.
Okay. So my name is Jeanette Branda, and I don't have any questions because I feel like the people have asked questions before, umewapeleka around and
Somebody's shutting them down.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, Jeanette, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
You guys, man.
You're on mute, Jeanette. Maybe we'll get one more, then the president closes. There was one more person who really wanted to speak. Now, if I may, you go ahead, please.
Yeah. So good evening, and thank you, Mr. President, for agreeing to come to address the nation here on Space. So I have two questions I'm going to ask really quick because of time. The first question is that, Mr. President, the rules of carbon credit were being developed by the Ministry of Environment, but as youth
is happening, man? What is... What is going on, man? What's going on, man? What's going on, man? What's this, man?